Hey guys, Chicago injury lawyer Scott DeSalvo driving into work to fight the good fight. And the topic of today's video is what to do if you're ready to give up. If you feel like you're ready to give up in your injury case, what should you do? So the reason I'm doing this is I spoke with a client who hasn't been a client for too long, but she fought the fight. She fought the case kind of on her own for a while. I mean, you know me if you've watched my other videos. I always tell people, if you've got any kind of injury case in this day and age, getting a lawyer on the job is important. But, she didn't want to make a big deal, thought that they would treat her fairly, and she fought the case on her own for far too long, got really, really frustrated, and finally decided to call a lawyer. She spoke with a lawyer who her friend had used, and then spoke with another lawyer she saw on TV, and then she saw my YouTube channel and watched some videos and decided to call me. And she liked me best because I actually answered her questions. I actually spent time with her. So she decided to hire me, which I was glad about, because all of these TV lawyers and these ambulance chasers drive me nuts. Anyway, long and short of it is, she was about ready to she was at her wit's end when she finally hired me. And, we went into the case, and since we've taken the case over, as I do in all my cases, my office does all the legwork. In other words, we order all the medical, we get the police report, we do all the communicating. The only exceptions to that are in workers' comp cases. I tell people, every time you go to the doctor, if you're off work or you have a light duty or modified duty order from your doctor, always get a doctor's note reaffirming that that's your light duty. In other words, if you've been on light duty for a couple weeks, you have a doctor's appointment, get another note, or get a note updating your work status, and make sure you give it to my office and your employer and the workers' comp insurance. Very important to do to keep your benefits going, right? Or in like a car crash case, we're running into a lot of doctors' offices and hospitals who haven't recovered from the lockdowns and the layoffs and the firings that occurred during the, you know what it is. I don't want to say it, but if you say it, YouTube penalizes your channel, but you know what it is. They still have short staff. They're still short-staffed, and providing medical records is where they are short-staffed. So, there's some doctors' offices and even hospitals that are, my goodness, like almost impossible to get medical records from. So the way we get around that with hospitals is we have the injured person contact the hospital, and they get set up on an online portal where they can download their records, and that sometimes, but not always, gets us what we need in a case. Usually does. At least good enough for us to do a demand letter, right? Try and get your case settled. But believe it or not, even with some of these hospitals, it's hard to even get the medical bills. Like, you would think, with as expensive as medical care is, and as much as these doctors and hospitals want to get paid, you would think getting a bill from them would be easy. You'd think they'd be sending the injured person bills left and right, but a lot of these places, they don't have enough staff, and any request you make, it's like pulling teeth. So those are the only times we'll ask people to actually step in and do some legwork. Like, if I literally can't get your bills and records, or a hospital is wrongly telling me you've never been there, and I've requested the records 3 times, 3 different ways, I'll ask the injured person to get involved and help me get medical records. But, we do all the legwork. And so this is what I tell people who are like at the end of their rope, okay? You just can't give up, all right? You may have an opportunity to sue somebody or do an injury claim many times in your life, or maybe none, or maybe just one. But you get one body in life, and if you are entitled to money, is what makes the world go round, and that's just That's just the way it is. So, if you're injured in an accident, you can't let these insurance companies get away with paying you nothing. And I know that it's exhausting, and I know that it's nerve-wracking, but once you have a lawyer on the case, the lawyer is doing all the legwork, okay? You don't have to do all the legwork anymore. You don't have to make the phone calls and leave voice messages and return phone calls and go on wild goose chases for documents, or deal with the frustration of a rude adjuster who is unreasonable and won't help you no matter what information you provide, even if you provide them everything they ask for. That's not, you don't have to deal with that anymore. So people who are at the end of their rope, that's really the time where you should consider talking to a lawyer. Now, I've talked to lots of people who can't find a lawyer. And let me tell you a phenomenon that I'm seeing a lot now in this crazy world we're living in. I'm running into a lot of lawyers who, unless your case is an easy slam dunk case, they don't want it. Or they'll sign it up, they'll do a bare minimum amount of work on it, and if it's not a big, easy settlement, they withdraw from the case. Now, I think that's crazy for a couple of reasons. One is, pardon me, and I'm seeing this happen more and more, I think that's crazy for a couple of reasons. One is, as a lawyer, you're supposed to help people. You're supposed to put the client's needs first. And just looking at the case as a money-making opportunity, or the client's injury as a money-making opportunity, yeah, I mean, that factors into it because we're businessmen and businesswomen, and we have to make enough money to keep the lights on. But if you've got a case for a client that you agree to take, you can't just drop any. Look, you can do it. I don't think it's unethical, but in my opinion, it's not the right way to do it. You can't just abandon people, left and right. Now, if you think somebody really doesn't have a case, you can withdraw from the case as an attorney. Or, if you're a lawyer and you have a fixed number of staff and you have too many cases that are going into suit, lawyers do have to occasionally go through their list of cases and get rid of some cases, or ask other attorneys to come on and take those cases to help out. That's a normal part of a responsible practice. You don't want a lawyer who signs up every case they can get their hands on and then mishandles the cases because they've got too many. In fact, I have to do that about once a year in my office. I have to look at the cases to see where are we going with some of these. And, mostly I get other attorneys to help, and I stay involved in the case. I just have other attorneys come in and co-counsel with me on the cases to help out. But the point is, no matter what is causing your frustration, another advantage of having a lawyer is you can pick up the phone and talk to the lawyer. A lot of the frustration comes, from my perspective, from what I've seen, is when somebody has a bunch of other things going on in their life and the case is like the straw that broke the camel's back. So even if they have a lawyer, the stress of having a pending case hanging over their head causes them additional stress. My advice to you would be to call your lawyer, explain what you're stressed out about, and talk about it. Another major cause of stress in a lawsuit is money, a money pinch, right? Because even if you're able to return to work, maybe you're not working full duty, maybe you're not making quite as much money, maybe you're not able to work overtime, maybe you had a second job to make ends meet that you're not able to do, like physically not able to do. Or maybe you're just off work, you're still off work, you don't have money coming in. Now, in those cases, there are things called lawsuit loans. I've done a couple of videos on them that I encourage you to watch, but I don't encourage people to get lawsuit loans unless it's their last resort. But if your choice is being put out on the street or a lawsuit loan, my advice is a lawsuit loan. My advice is to get a lawsuit loan. Again, very high interest rates. You're better off tightening your belt and getting help from friends or family if that's even an option for you. But a lawsuit loan to make ends meet as a bridge until you can return to work full duty or figure something else out or the case settles is not a terrible idea. There are better lawsuit loan companies and worse ones, and I always tell my clients that if they're considering a lawsuit loan, they should call me and talk to me about it, because you don't want to get in with one of these, companies that is inflexible. And some of them charge more money, and some of them are inflexible at the end of the case regarding what they get paid back. So you need to work with a good company that's flexible, that is responsive to you, if you're going to take out a lawsuit loan company. But really, those are my 3 points. Hiring a lawyer is going to stop a lot of the stress. Talking to your lawyer and getting firm answers to your questions like, how long is this going to take? How much money do you think the case is worth? And even just talking to the attorney about your concerns is something that's going to reduce your stress level. And if you don't have an attorney who talks to you, ask yourself why that's the case. Why are you working with an attorney who won't talk to you and won't answer your questions? Now, there's a balance in that. There's a balance in what I'm saying. I have had mostly really fantastic, great people as clients. But I have also had clients who call me twice a week or 3 times a week, every week, and they call my, secretary, and they call, just over and over and over. And even though I tell them, look, you gotta give me 30 days to get the file up to speed, doesn't matter. They call 3 times a week. So, pardon me, I'm having like a little allergy attack here for some reason. Well, it's fall, it's autumn while I'm recording this, so that probably explains why I've got some allergy situations going on here. But anyway, the important thing to remember is if you're feeling stressed out and feeling like you want to give up, you want to just drop the whole thing, is remember that the attorney is responsible for moving the case forward. The attorney is going to take care of the details for you. And there's really your life with the case pending and your life without the case pending is really not going to be any different as long as you have an attorney. But if you don't have an attorney, I agree with you. It is a very stressful thing to try and handle your own injury case. So anyway, I hope these insights and this information helps you. If you need a lawyer or you need help, you can always call me at 312-500-4500. And that's a 24-hour line. It's 24/7, 365, middle of the night, first thing in the morning, middle of the day, doesn't matter. That phone number always gets answered. And the people you talk to are trained by me with basic questions to ask you. All of that info gets immediately sent to me, and then I give you a call back at the time you request, or as soon as I get it in the alternative. So it's always a free consultation, so feel free to give me a call, 312-500-4500. If you enjoy my videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. I've got well over 200 videos on YouTube now explaining all aspects of injury cases and claims and what you can expect, and basically giving you answers to your questions. So check out my channel. If you subscribe, please hit the bell so that you're notified of new videos, and make sure you hit the like button if you like the video. Finally, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor, it's a very competitive market in injury law these days. We've got trust fund multimillionaires coming into markets and dominating TV and billboards, and so it's competitive for a smaller firm like mine. So it would really help me if you could do me a favor and leave me a 5-star review on Google. I'll leave the link in the description. All you do is cut and paste the link into a web browser, click the 5 stars, say a kind word, hit submit. Takes you 5 seconds, but it means the world to me, and it would really be appreciated. Finally, I've got a bunch of really good tools on my website. I've got the Case Cash Calculator, and I've also got the Do I Have a Good Case Calculator. Both of these answer those questions, and they take about 15 seconds to answer. They're a series of just a few multiple choice questions, and they're either going to give you an idea of what your case might be worth, or they're going to tell you whether you have a good case or whether you have a case with some pretty obvious problems and challenges, right? Those are completely free tools on my website I built to help injured people, so they're there for you to use, completely free and no obligation, and they're, written in plain English, quick and easy to use. So, pardon me, I'll leave a link in the description to those below, and check them out. In the meantime, I hope you and your family are well, and if anyone needs to talk to a lawyer, please send them my way. Appreciate it a lot. I'll stop talking now, and you have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.